What's up, MGTOW brothers? Austin Cook here for MGTOW Fitness. As promised, this is my intro video to really get us started into the fitness aspect of my channel. And we're going to start by working out the muscle groups of the leg. And before we get into that, I'm going to start out by going over the basic anatomy of the upper and the lower portions of the leg, their functions, do some quick stretches, and then we'll get into some exercises, okay? Let's get to it. This chair here. So I'm going to drop the camera down, because you guys are in for a treat. You're going to be able to take a look at the anatomy of my leg. And now, I by no means am a giant, massive bodybuilder, okay? So try not to laugh here. It's wintertime in my state, so I haven't seen sun in many, many months. Let's do this left leg here, actually. Okay? Now, the upper portion, these are the quadriceps, okay, obviously. This is the main muscle group that people think about when they want to go into the gym and start training their legs, okay? Now, the quadriceps obviously means four, so there's four individual muscle groups of the upper portion of the leg, okay? The first is actually runs down the center of the upper leg, okay? This is the rectus femoris, and it wraps right around your femur. And then deep tissue underneath that muscle is actually the vastus intermedius, okay? They're kind of both the same muscle group underneath the rectus femoris. Then you've got two on the side here. You've got the vastus lateralis down here, okay? Then this teardrop, if I turn my leg inside here, this teardrop-shaped muscle is the vastus medialis, okay? Now they're responsible for flexion and extension of the knee, okay? So most exercises you see, either they be bending at the knee, okay, and then extending it back to neutral position here, okay, where as in like a leg extension or a squat, okay? Then you've got the anterior portion of the leg here. The lower anterior portion. You've got the, hold on a second here, let me drop down a little bit further so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, on the inside, the interior portion of the front leg here, you've got the tibialis anterior muscle, and then next to that you've got the peroneus longus, okay? And their function, okay, if I put my toes into the dorsiflexion, that means up into the air, you can see it contracting there here, these two muscles. They're responsible for dorsiflexing at the knee, okay? They lift the feet up off the ground, okay? Now the posterior aspect of the leg, or the calf muscles, their job is to plantar flex, or to drop the toes down towards the ground, okay? Like in a calf raise, okay? And now your calf muscles are actually made up of two superficial muscle groups on the outside. The main large one here is the gastrocnemius muscle, and underneath that is the soleus muscle, okay? These two together create kind of that horseshoe aspect of the calf, okay? That's pretty pronounced. All right, then we've got one more muscle group. Let me turn back to the side here. But bear with me, I'm not going to jack my shorts up this high. And this is kind of tough to see without me putting pressure on the back, the posterior portion of my leg, but these are the hamstring muscles. These are often ignored by a lot of guys when they do some exercises, but they shouldn't be, because their job is for curling the back part of the leg. For example, if I do a bicep curl, okay, like this, your hamstrings do the exact same thing for the rear portion of your leg, okay? If my lower leg was my forearm, this would be the bicep portion, okay? You're curling your leg like that. And ironically enough, one of the muscle groups here in the medial portion of your hamstrings is the bicep femoris, okay? The biceps of the femur, if you can remember that. Then you've got two other muscles that run along the side here. Again, they're kind of tough to see. I don't have an extremely low body fat percentage, but also it's tough without putting pressure on the hamstrings, resistance. You've got the semimembranous on the outside, the lateral portion, and the semitendinous, okay, down the center here. Those are the three for the hamstring. And again, their job is to curl the upper back posterior portion of the leg. So, when it comes to leg exercises, in my humble opinion, there is one main king that if you're going to do one exercise for the rest of your life, especially for the lower portion of your lower body, it should be the squat, okay? If you guys aren't squatting, you need to start squatting, okay? As I just showed you, and these are just the superficial muscle groups, there is a ton of muscles, individual and groups in the leg, which means when you work your legs out, okay, you're going to burn a lot of calories, okay? And because your legs are lower than your heart, you'll be able to work harder and longer, generally speaking, without noticing your heart rate elevating as badly. So, for example, if I'm doing curls up here, because my arms run parallel to the position of my heart over here, my heart rate's going to get up, which a lot of times makes guys worry about that in the gym, and they tend to go to failure, okay? But if you're working your legs, you can work them harder, you can work them longer, because your heart rate will stay dropped. It'll stay lower than if you're working an upper body exercise, all right? So let's go to the position of the squat. And again, if you guys know this stuff, just bear with me. This is for beginners, intermediate workout people. Bodyweight squats can be challenging enough in multiple variations, okay? The first question is, where do I want to position my feet, okay? As I kind of went into it naturally here, because I've been squatting for quite a while, I naturally want my feet at a slight outward angle tilt, okay? The position of the legs are going to be shoulder width apart, which for me is right about here, okay? Now what you don't want to do is point your toes. And the reason might be obvious, but what you can definitely see when you start kneeling down. If I go into a squat position here, my knees are down. Look what happens when I get down to the 90 degree. My knees are buckling inward, okay? From the side, okay? Buckling. There's very low base of support here. When I widen them out and I start going down into a squat, okay, the knees are going to generally follow the point of your toes, okay? Like if I was out in the middle of the woods and I had to follow nature's call and I found a nice comfortable bush, this would be the natural position. I can get right down into it. I can set my elbows on my kneecaps. This is comfortable. This is where you want to be for a squat, okay? The hips are wide open. You've got a good base of support. You've got a triangulation of the legs and the kneecaps. This is where I could, if I wanted to, put extra weight on my back or hold dumbbells out here if I wanted to, okay? So when you go down into a basic squat, okay, again, you want to make sure that your head is back, chest is up and out, okay? And I want to lower down and engage at the hips first. So I'm going to come down here, okay, and I want to engage at the hips. Let's get it from a side view. It's always pointed out, and I know the camera's angled down so you can see my legs, but my chest is forward, head is straight ahead, okay? My hips engage first, I go down, and when I come here, this, for all intents and purposes, is the full range of motion you want to be. You can see that my back is still in a neutral position. It may look like I'm leaning forward, but I have all the natural curves to the back, okay? Now, come back to the top here. Let me angle the camera up slightly again. All right, guys, so I showed you the muscle groups. I showed you the basic angles and the proper form for a squat. All right, let me show you some variations. So for that, we're going to get a little fancy and grab some of my favorites, some free weights. Okay, now this stuff, these are super old weights. I've had these forever. This is only about 60 pounds, okay, so it's nothing big. We're going to start with a goblet squat. The goblet squats are excellent variation for squats because they don't put the load of weight on the back, on your upper back, which is perfectly fine to do, but they actually force you to carry it in the front part of your body, which, as you can expect, would put a little bit more load on your core. So you get to work a little bit more of your rectus abdominis in the front here and your stabilizing muscles while you do the squat. So let's see what this looks like. Again, just like a normal squat, you're going to make sure your feet are far apart and about shoulder width apart. Toes are pointed outwards. You're going to go down, keep your butt down and out, okay? And when you grab the weight here, there we go. Okay, you can see when I come down, I've got it against my chest, because if you don't, the tendency is to tip forward. And remember, we want to keep our lower back straight in a neutral position. Let me show you from the side quick. Oh, shouldn't have done back before this. Okay, so again, when I start going down, my hips go back down and engage first so that the weight stays in a straight up and down line, okay? This is against my sternum at the center of my pectorals, and then you engage back up, okay? Now you want to control on the way down, pause for a second and come back up here, okay? That reminds me, let's talk about another thing I forgot to discuss here. Proper breathing techniques. As you can tell, I've been talking a lot while I'm exercising, which is not something you would normally do in a gym or at home, unless you're talking to yourself, which is okay. But you want to make sure that breathing is important because you've got to keep that flow of oxygen to your muscle groups. So we'll go back to the squat. When I go down, okay, the eccentric portion, okay, before I'm contracting my leg muscles here, you want to breathe in. And when I contract them, my quadriceps, you want to breathe out the whole time. Okay, so for this goblet squat, imagine I had a weight here. Breathe out. Slowly in. Okay. Now what you're doing is you're actually priming the muscles, because you've got to keep that flow of oxygen there. You've probably seen it a lot of times in the gym. Guys, girls, elderly people, whoever, when they reach that point of failure when they're doing a repetition, for some reason a lot of times they will suck in, hold the breath, and then try to, for example, with a bench press, push it up without breathing. What you're doing is you're preventing the flow of blood and oxygen, okay? You're increasing your diastolic, that low number blood pressure, without letting the blood go through the arteries, okay? Very dangerous place to be. That's a good way to pass out really quick, okay? So try to keep in mind when you breathe during every exercise, whether it be legs, upper body, shoulders, arms, you want to make sure that you're breathing out during the exertion and breathing in the eccentric or the lowering or the relaxing portion of the exercise. Whew, excuse me. I should have waited a couple minutes before I filmed this video, but I had to get a workout on this morning. I had a lot on my mind. Okay, let's go right next to a follow-up exercise, and it's another variation of the squat, okay? I'm about to get real technical here, so bear with me. I've got this chair here, okay? Even though this is a wicker wooden chair, this thing is super old. This is going to be my base of support for a Bulgarian split squat. It's an excellent body weight squat variation if you don't have weights or exercise bands or access to a gym. And to be honest, even with your body weight, it's really, really challenging. So, for this one, because it's a single leg exercise, which a lot of guys kind of avoid for some reason, but it's another great way to engage your core, your hip flexors, and make sure that you keep your posture engaged here. And this one also, you know, red flag, guys, this is going to engage your gluteal muscles a lot more. But don't be afraid of that. They're a large muscle group. You need them during all exercises, so you got to work them at some point. So, and what I'm going to do too, let's drop this down again a little bit here, okay? So, since I'm using a single leg, you still want this leg, okay, forward, and I'm going to use, I've got this thing here as a basis of support for my hands. If you need an extra chair or like a bench to the side, if you're not comfortable with being stabilized, that's fine. I'm going to throw my contralateral leg, the one that's not going to be flexing, up about halfway on the chair, okay? Okay, now, when I go down here, just like in a squat, you want to remind that your knee does not lean forward past the point of my toes. You want to keep that back. And another way to remind yourself to make sure that you're doing this properly is before I even go down, okay, engage your glutes, which means clench them together, which will naturally pull down at your lumbar spine here, and make sure that your back stays back and straight, okay? And also chest out is a good way to do that too. This is the neutral position. You want to make sure that, so I can come all the way down here. This leg is flexing, this leg is good, knee portion is good, and then you come back up, okay? You can do as many of these as you like. When I do these without assistance, which I'm not going to do right now, I generally keep my hands folded in front of me to keep that base of stabilization. And to be honest, guys, even if you've got a ton of leg strength, these are challenging because they require your abs to be engaged, okay? Your hips flexors to be loose, and strong quads and glutes as well, okay? It's an excellent variation. So, back this up here a little bit. Now we're going to go to my third and final ones that hit the quads. Okay, we're going to use this kind of pathetic baby weight since I don't have room to get a giant barbell in here. There's the easy curl bars, maybe 70 pounds. That's it. For some deadlifts. Now you should do deadlifts as part of your routine. They are a compound movement, which means you're using more than just a single muscle group, okay? They're an excellent way to burn a ton of calories, just like most squats, because you're using more than one individual muscle group. And these are also one of the few free weight exercises that can engage your hamstrings directly. Okay, so for this one, there's multiple ways you can point your toes or positions for your legs. You don't have to have them way far out and about, okay, for some variations. But for what I generally do for deadlifts is I keep them in the same position as a squat. Shoulder width apart. You can have your toes a little bit more pointed forward because we're not going to be going down as far as the squat position here, okay? But we are, again, this is going to be working the glutes, your lower back region, okay? And then also the hamstrings. So you want to make sure when you go down, you do want to keep a bend at the knee. The bar I'm going to roll all the way to the front part of my shins here, okay? So that when I keep my hands here, I'm not going to be using my shoulders and my biceps to pull this weight up. I'm just going to be hinging at my hips and pulling straight up, okay? And even at the top portion, you can flex your glutes, okay? And then lower it straight down. Let me show it from the side, okay? So that you can see how close the bar is. I literally have it against my quadriceps here. So when I drag it down, if I'm doing this intentionally slower than I normally would, okay, the bar is almost staying in contact with my body the whole time. And again, I'm just using my arms to support the weight. I'm not pulling with them at any point here. And at this portion here, when I'm about 75% on the way down, I'm using my hamstrings. Okay, you should feel a great tension at your hammies down here. Okay, these are supporting the weight and the eccentric portion on the way down, and then you can explode on the way back up to get them back up. Okay, all right. Now I'm not going to go over a whole lot of calf exercises initially. What I generally do for those, I do some standing calf raises. I have two different staircases in my house. I like to use staircases for calf raises. But if you want to see those specifically in exercise, those are a good muscle group to focus on, especially for me because I do have baby calves. Those are tough to do. But like most muscle groups, even if you're not naturally gifted with large legs, I like to focus on heavy repetitions. If I don't have access to a machine or weights, I like heavy reps with little wait time. Most of my exercises are about 35 minutes max. I don't spend hours working out here. When I go to the gym, if I'm working out with a friend, I don't like to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours at the gym. I just don't have time. And it's not necessary unless you're, trying to be Mr. Olympia if you're competing. So, all right, guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope you found out some easy ways to do some exercises, some body weight options. Again, I'm just doing this off the cuff. Let me get the camera back up here because I do want to talk to you about one other topic before we finish here. So, there we go. Get this back up. Whew. Yeah, again, I did this right after I did back this morning. So, which is good. I mean, the only thing better than one workout is two workouts, right? So, we do have to talk about a MGTOW portion in this. And since we're talking about the legs as the foundation, I thought I would share with you a story about one of my friends. Let's say his first name is Dave. That's a generic enough name. Now, my friend Dave is currently married, but he's going through a very severely downtime portion in his marriage. He's struggling. And he's been talking with me over the phone, and we've met a couple times since about August of this year. Because Dave is not happy. Now, Dave's wife, in my opinion, is a very attractive lady. They do have a 2-year-old son together. Dave went to school for something that he does not enjoy. And every time I talk to Dave or he texts me or we get together and hang out, you can just see in his eyes that he is not a happy guy. That when he wakes up in the morning, he dreads the alarm clock. He absolutely hates facing every day because he hates where he works. He doesn't feel confident as a man. His wife nags him because she can tell that he lacks that confidence. And I think currently his wife has a little bit better paying job than him, which, as we know, MGTOW Brothers is a giant red flag. So basically, Dave, obviously, if he doesn't have motivation to go to work, we used to work out together in college. We did go to a university together. He stopped that a long time ago. He's got a nice little baby belly. He eats. I think he's still smoking weed. He's in a lot of negative tendencies, but it really breaks my heart because he is a good, solid friend. Um, but he just doesn't know where his foundation is right now. You know, when he wakes up, he's not motivated in really any direction. He's like a drowning man, just struggling to stay to the surface of the water for air. And I've been trying to give him some support. I did send him a MGTOW video, one of TFM's really early old videos to kind of talk about hypergamy, but I haven't brought that up since because, I mean, he's not ready for it. And if you were to try to, for most of our, if you know guys who are married, if you try to bring up MGTOW principles or the red pill philosophy to somebody who's already married, it's like telling a guy who jumped out of an airplane, hey, by the way, you forgot to attach your parachute. He can't do anything about it. All he can do is figure out how to bide his time while he's falling to his death. And I don't want to do that to Dave. I want to motivate Dave as much as I can. He might be in one of those cheaper to keeper situations. We'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I'm just encouraging him. I told him, I said, come over to my house. Let's work out anytime you got free time. He's currently not working. I'm trying to help him with that a little bit. But, you know, as MGTOW men, when you understand the way society is designed to benefit women and to really beat down men, you've got to find your own sense of self-worth. You've got to find your self-motivation. For me, exercise has always been that. That's why I do it first thing in the morning. It is my form of meditation. It is the time where I am utterly and laser-like focused on what my goals are, what I need to accomplish, okay? You know, I mean, if I rack up a deadlift, a bar of 200 pounds, the great thing about that is I know that's exactly going to be 200 pounds. You know, that will always be 200 pounds. And when I grow, I can add more weight to it. It's consistent. It's reliable. It is always challenging, and it's always there waiting for me, you know, to challenge myself, okay? And to tell this weight, I'm going to conquer you. You can be 200 pounds, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to be 203 strong next week, or I'm going to be 205 strong the week after that. And that's why I really, like I said, I love exercise. I know I kind of might have rushed through some of these today, but I just wanted to get a video upload to let you guys know what the pace of my videos are going to be like, what I want to offer for the sequential content. So that being said, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. We're already at about 22 and a half minutes here. I hope this is not too long for you guys. Again, if you like what you see, please hit the like button, comment down below. I'm going to work from, like I said, the bottom up. So next time we're going to be talking about the abdominals, your core muscles, show you a lot of the free weight exercises I like to do. Then we'll work to the arms, the triceps, biceps. Then we'll do pectorals, shoulders. Again, if you want me to go at that pace, if you think I'm taking too much time and these videos are way too long to watch, let me know. I can shorten them up. We can kind of split it up between fitness and MGTOW and 2 separate contents. If you want me to skip abs and go to something else next time, please let me know. Again, my videos are designed for you guys. I'm here to help you out. I want to be motivating for you. And if you think of any other MGTOW comment that you heard during the week or topics you want me to touch on while I'm working out, let me know. You know, I'm still getting used to this dialoguing while I'm exercising. This is very, very new for me. Usually I just got the tunes cranked up. You know, I'm jamming out. I'm working hard. But this is fun. I might look like I'm exhausted, but I'm having a great time doing this. Again, I want to benefit you guys. Hit the like button if you liked it. Subscribe down below. And we will see you next time. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.